thrilled to welcome Rebecca Mersereau.
Thank you, Michelle. That all came as a surprise. I thought you were going to be talking about Trevor. That was very kind of you. Thank you. I have an analog version of some notes up here. We'll see how they do with the wind. How's the sound? Is that loud enough for everyone? Really great to see some familiar faces here and some people who, for me, have been really instrumental over the years in helping me successfully get elected to council. So that's really promising sign, Trevor, if there is one. I think you have a lot of great people here. As Michelle mentioned, last week I announced I wouldn't be running in this upcoming election for personal reasons. And really that was such a difficult decision for me to come to, and I came to it pretty reluctantly actually. And really the reason for that is because there's just a tremendous amount of opportunity that comes with the role of being an elected official in Saanich and the CRD as well. It's not only a huge opportunity, I think, you know, in Saanich we have so much going for us. It is both circumstantial because of some of the people around the table, and I do want to point out Councillor Zach DeVries here today as well, who I think has been really instrumental in working towards some of that change. It's also, we have the most highly educated public there is in Canada, as I understand it, and really passionate community members about the community. And so I think the opportunities are just tremendous for us. We're also lucky that we're not in the radar of Adam Sterling and crew. So there is so much opportunity to really be a leader and do a lot of great progressive things. What also is sort of the flip side of that opportunity is the huge responsibility that comes with it. And I'm really grateful to have a chance to be here today and introduce someone who I think is so capable of stepping into those roles and taking on that huge amount of responsibility, and for stepping in and carrying forward a lot of the great momentum that I think we've established over the last term, and someone who I think has the intellect and the motivation to actually take on some of our sticky challenges that we haven't made progress yet on in Saanich. So it's a real tremendous honor to do this. Trevor and I go back to, I think, 2014, when I first stepped forward for Saanich Council. And, you know, we have, as Michelle pointed out, we have a lot in common. We're also the same exact age, as I understand it. And, you know, I think we have what some might characterize as maybe annoying attention to detail at times. And I know we also share a really deep concern for the environment and awareness of climate change and what's coming with it. And I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that we both share a huge admiration for former Saanich Councillor Vic Thurman, who I think for both of us really stands out as a tremendous example of a principled leader who is ahead of his times in many respects. I want to talk to you a little bit about why I think Trevor is the right person to step into Saanich Council at this particular point in time. He is infinitely collegial and kind. And, you know, while that's not only a nice thing to experience when you're a member of the public, I think it's a critical asset to bring to the council table. There are often difficult dynamics in making difficult decisions, and having the respect and goodwill of those around you is really important to that. It's also, I've learned, really important at the CRD, where there's inevitably interesting personalities in the room, and you need to figure out a way to work together to achieve things for the betterment of the region. And I think those traits will really serve Trevor well. Something that is so underappreciated in politics generally, I think, is an ability to synthesize information, to receive it openly, and to essentially do the kind of policy making that I know Trevor has acquired experience with throughout his career and his academic background. And that's something that I think is going to serve him extremely well in these roles. The other thing that needs mention is he's a father of young children, although I can't believe how big they're getting, having observed that over the years. But this is really a missing voice at the council table. I've tried as best I can to think of that perspective while I'm there, since many of my friends and companions are parents of young children. But until you have someone at the table with that direct experience, you're really missing that really important priority for our community. And what comes with it is really a long-term view for decisions. So I think that's a really important asset that you bring, as well as that direct experience. Before closing, I want to share that, I think it's often the case that some of the best candidates have the most difficult time campaigning. And this is not a statement on the quality of your campaign. Don't interpret it that way. Campaigning inherently requires a lot of self-promotion. It's very awkward, I think, sometimes for people who, really their main passion driving them is doing the best thing for the community and making sure that the long-term interests of the public are really what's driving their decisions. And so I really encourage you here today to think about how you can support Trevor's campaign, whether that's financially. Certainly campaigns these days require a lot of financing to be successful, unfortunately. But also with your time. Time is probably as valuable an asset in campaigns as the money to purchase the signs and the brochures that go along with it. So please think about whether you can contribute to the campaign and whether you're in a position to ask others, because that isn't always something that's easy for the candidate themselves to do. Thank you for being here. I know from past experience, this means a lot to Trevor to see who's here and shows up to support the campaign. And I really am thrilled to welcome Trevor up, who I think is just an absolutely tremendous candidate for us at Saanich and the CRD.